Hey guys, welcome back to another video. So today we have war number 3 of season 24 of Alliance War. So, I already went against what I said earlier on war number 1, and I already brought Ghost and Quake back to war. But it really paid off because I think this is the best war I've ever had. I got a total of 9 attacker kills. Only 8 of them I'm going to call true attacker kills, because one of them, there was a Killmonger, and he was at 4%, and I literally killed him with one hit with Ghost. But I'll get in that later. So first up, we have a ManThing with Vigorous Assault. So, what Vigorous Assault does is when the defender has a regen buff active, they gain bonus attack, and they are unblockable for the duration of that regen. And this only works with buffs. So basically, they comboed it with Arc Overload, so every, I believe, 20 seconds, the defender activates a regen buff and armor up, but that's not important. But as you guys can see, I completely shut off Arc Overload, so this guy is never going to go unblockable, because ManThing's regeneration activates when he is hit. So I literally do not have to deal with Vigorous Assault. But if he were to be unblockable, it would not matter because I am quaking him. So it literally would not matter. I don't care. But here, a few of you might be wondering why I just didn't drop my heavy attack at the end of that. Most of the time, I would not recommend dropping your heavy, pretty much ever, because you can just continue quaking, and you might screw yourself over if you do end up dropping the heavy and not killing the defender. So, that fight was easy, full attack bonus, no problem there. And now we're going to be taking Omega Red Ghost. So Omega Red is a protect defender. ManThing was, but I didn't hit him, so I never had to deal with it. But I was a bit worried. I haven't really messed around with Ghost and Protect much, but pretty much what I've noticed is she just activates protection when those Furies are up from suicides, but after that, it's not a problem anymore. So we're just going to do our normal thing. As you guys can see here, I am taking pretty much no damage. And Ghost is very good for Mega Red. She is very good at managing the spores. So there I kind of messed up and they went up, but I can just kind of back up and I have all the spores off of me. So when just doing a normal phase 1 hit, you gain 2 spores in that process for each one that you do. So it's really not a problem at all. And I throw my SP3 here, hoping it will kill. It sadly will not kill, as you guys are going to see. It's going to put him at exactly 1%. And 1%, yep. But we just have to do one more phase medium, and he is down. So we walked out of that fight at full health, and that's really what I wanted to do. I wanted to save items for a fight I have coming up with Ghost. But here, I'm going to be taking Human Torch. So, Human Torch, I have a lot of experience ghosting and quaking this guy. I used to be a boss killer for the map 5 Human Torch when he was the boss, or the mini boss in there. So I am extremely comfortable quaking and ghosting Human Torch to the point where I can actually fully dodge all the special attacks with no problem with pretty much any champion. But we're just gonna be quaking this guy because it's safer, and Strike Counter Fury is the node on this guy. So whenever I would throw 2 heavy attacks, 4 medium attacks, or 5 light attacks, this guy is going to start gaining very massive Fury buffs. And these Furies, if he has like 10 of these, he can kill me in like a few hits. But if I did get clipped here without the Furies, I wouldn't die, but I would take a lot of damage. But clearly here, I'm going to solo this fight with no problem. The only damage I've taken so far is from suicides, and I believe I took 2 blocked hits now, which is fine. But that's not very important. So that was my section 1. Moving into section 2, we have this Dormammu with EMP modification. So I do not take this fight very frequently because usually there's a stubborn defender that I cannot quake, or there's just a better matchup for someone else. The 2 people I run with frequently bring Dr. Doom to Alliance War, and EMP modification inflicts a shock, which Dr. Doom is immune to. So you don't have to deal with it at all. But Quake is also great for this node, because EMP modification, for every buff that you activate, they gain a, I don't even know what it's called, I think it's an Ion Pulse Charge, and when the defender activates a special attack, up to 10 of these are going to inflict a passive shock, which I have tried to take this fight Magneto. To my surprise, Magneto is not resistant to passive shocks, if that helped you out. Yeah, that was a very sucky death. That annoyed me a lot. But that's not important. So Quake, I never push Dormammu here or any defender up to a special attack, so I never have to deal with the passive shocks. So it's not a problem at all. This is a very, very straightforward fight with little to no issue, as you guys can see. So yeah, Dormammu here, very easy. The only time I really ever took this fight, when Stubborn was a thing, was if there was a magic here, which was fairly common, not super. You would see Guardian, Doom, and Domino here the most, I would say. But whatever, we got Dormammu this time. So now we're going to be moving on to the main part of Section 2, and I have Apocalypse. So this was the main fight I was worried about to Ghost, because from me seeing YouTube videos and my own experience against Apocalypse as the AQ boss and Alliance War boss, his SP1 does insane block damage if you can't dodge it. So I was really worried about that going into this. I was also worried about triggering protection on every hit of Ghost. Luckily, he has enough health where I only triggered it with the Fury buffs. Very similar to Mega Red. And here I was crossing my fingers to see the block damage, and I dealt 10%. And then I healed back a little bit over 2, almost 3%, my max health. So I saw that, and I kind of laughed to myself, thinking that, wow, this is pretty dumb. That's no block damage at all. It's not a problem. But, yeah, it's not a problem at all. We do have Vigor here. I forgot to mention that. So this guy is going to be regenning every 25% threshold. If I don't push him that threshold, that is. And he regens quite a significant amount, or margin of his max health. But we can out damage it pretty easily with Ghost, which is not a problem. And here I just messed up the phase timer, so I throw my SP3. It's not going to do a lot. I believe it is going to push him over that 25% threshold. And it is going to, actually, it's like a little Ghost fun fact. If you have a precision cruelty buff, it is removed on hit. Even though an SP3 cannot hit, or crit that is, it still removes it. So if you mess up your fave timer and you really need to gain some ground, you can for SP3 and it resets it. So you can just phase right after, which is really nice. But that fight was super easy. And this Elsa Bloodstone here is like the hardest fight on my path, and this is a joke. So if Elsa Bloodstone is running suicides as a defender, which she normally is, Archangel is probably the best option. Because literally your first heavy attack, you get neurotoxins up. The first one. Lionheart is on here, so the poison from suicides did make me take some degen damage, but I hadn't used Archangel here before, so I only took a little bit of damage. And as you guys see, she's almost dead. And by almost dead, I mean she is dead in like 23 seconds. And that's including Archangel and Elsa walking into the fight, which is like 3 seconds. So I got that fight down in like 20 seconds. That is insane. Okay, so now we're going to be moving on to Mini Boss Island. So first up, we have Wolverine X23. So I could have used all 3 of my champions for this fight. I could have used Ghost, Archangel, or Quake. I was actually thinking about bringing Archangel, but then I kind of thought, if she activates a regen and I mess up a parry heavy and I die, I'm going to feel so terrible. Ghost, sometimes after special attacks, the whole, like, where you can, like, whiff an attack if you mistime it, I didn't want to risk that. But Quake was the safest option I had here. It is going to be quite a bit of a longer fight, but it is the safest option I have. So we're just going to be Quaking. The most annoying thing about this is this person is running willpower. So when I have my debuff up, they are regenning. It's not a lot, but it is enough to be annoying, if that makes sense. So, I don't know. I just have to live with it here. It's just going to extend the duration of a fight a little bit. Not much, though. But yeah, we're just kind of Quaking this X23. How X23 activates regen is when she lands a hit or when she gets hit. But with Quake, we're not landing hits, and we are not receiving hits. So she won't activate regen, ever. And if she did activate regen, like I said earlier on ManThing, we would not have to deal with the unblockable because we're not blocking. We're Quaking. So that would not be a problem anyway. But as you guys can see, this fight is going very smoothly. There's really no problem at all here. Just Quaking like I normally do. And the fight is over. So after this, you're going to see a little Killmonger there. So I did not record the Killmonger fight, like I said earlier, because someone almost soloed him with Torch, I believe, and he was at 4%. So pretty much I went in for the finish, and I one-hit KO'd him, and it was not really worth recording. I didn't really think about it. So the next fight is a Mr. Fantastic. I was not planning on taking this fight, and I don't think anyone else was in my alliance. So I kind of manned up, and I was like, you know what? I can ghost this. And I feel like a lot of people don't know that Ghost is such a good counter for Mr. Fantastic. Because on this note specifically, you might be like, why wouldn't you use Archangel? Well, on this fight specifically, there's Limber, and with needing to spam so many heavy attacks, it doesn't really work out. With Quake, there's Limber, which is annoying, but Brute Force is much worse. So I actually have to land hits of Quake, which kind of defeats the purpose of Quake. So that's not very helpful. But Ghost, you might be wondering, how is Ghost so good for this Mr. Fantastic? And then you may think, well, Mr. Fantastic evades a lot. And the piece of utility that I feel like most people don't know about with Ghost is her guaranteed crits ignore evade. And Mr. Fantastic evades for each debuff on you. So you're going to see me mess up a lot, and I'm going to throw a lot of non-crit light attacks, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But we're just going to kind of move smoothly through this. So the main issue here was that I kept on throwing light non-crits, which could be very scary. He could evade me, which is very bad. But the nicer thing is I walked into this fight with below 2/3 of my max health. And with all these debuffs, with willpower too, I am healing all the way back up to full, which is so good. Yeah, I don't know, just very easy. And with all these debuffs, I don't know exactly what mastery set this guy's running. I'm assuming he's got to be running, I don't remember exactly what the mastery's called, but for each debuff in the opponent, it does reduce their attack rating. But, I don't know, my attack rating is terrible while I had these debuffs on me. Or, I don't know that much about Mr. Fantastic. Maybe for each debuff on me, I have a reduced attack rating. But while I have these debuffs, I'm healing, but I deal about half as much damage on hit. So the duration of this fight is extremely long, as you guys can see. We're almost 2 minutes in. He's done 25%. So it is annoying, but it's not that bad. I mean, it's not like I'm going to time out or anything. That would be very bad if I were to time out of Ghost. That would feel terrible. So here I am going to be losing a little bit of health from Brute Force, as you guys are going to see. But with how many debuffs this guy's throwing, I'm going to walk out of this fight with a full yellow bar, which isn't that helpful since the boss is left, which I'm not going to be taking, but it doesn't matter. Just kind of cool to see full yellow bar. And the coolest part about this war was I got technically 9 attacker kills, but I'm only going to say 8, really. And it was an itemless war. I didn't use a single item this war, which is pretty crazy. So I was super proud of this war. I think this is my best war ever. And this war, I was hoping for something really special. I was hoping to get in the top 3 of my alliance for the first time ever. And I got 4th, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with that. Other people just did a little bit better than me, which is fine. But I got 4th, which is still the best I've ever done. But I really wanted to get MVP maybe. Sadly, that did not happen. But it's fine. We did win the war. It was kind of close on deaths until the end, where it kind of evened out. But I thought I had a great war. I'm super proud of myself. I thought this is a very big step up from that first war, as you guys probably saw. That was terrible. I felt really bad after that. But I felt super good after this one. I thought it was a little bit of redemption. Still not enough to make myself feel good about the first war, but I was proud of myself. But anyway, thank you guys for watching. Catch you in the next video.